Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday. So I thought I'd continue on with the Tuesday thoughts because I got a few DMs and some really great comments and feedback from it last week. But today I thought I'd do it live. So last week, some of my posts covered a little bit around, getting clear on what you do want, um, which, it's great advice, right? Um, but I guess the other thing is as well, like if I actually asked you to list out what you actually want in your life in terms of your lifestyle, your health and fitness, your business, your career, basically everything, or your relationships, right? Would you actually be able to do it? And my guess is probably not. So we might have a clear goal in one area, but we sort of forget the goals in the other area. And I'll just hold on to that thought for a minute and I'll come back to it. And anyway, going back to, would you be able to really clearly articulate what you want in every aspect of your life? And my guess is probably not. And that's okay because most people, and that includes me, by the way, don't know what they want. And, how could you? Because you haven't experienced everything yet. So, there's some things that we don't know if we don't know what we don't know, right? Um, and Yes, that's one thing. And then the other thing is as well, though, if you think about it, sometimes it's actually, and that question can also kind of just put some alarm bells in. Like sometimes when someone goes, well, what do you want? And then it's such a broad question that sometimes you're kind of like a deer in headlights, right? And um, so what I've found sometimes is that a lot of people are actually much more clear on or have a good idea on the things that they don't want or an idea of what they don't want. And so this is like, for example, coming back to my earlier point around, when I have people who approach me who are like, yeah, I want to get up on stage. I'm like, well, why? And they don't know. Um, and they think they want to do bodybuilding, but the reality is, they're still smoking, they're still drinking, they still like partying. They've never, stuck to a diet plan or have any interest in getting a better relationship with food. They don't train consistently, and yet they want to get up on stage to feel good and to feel like they've achieved something, which, I will steer those people away because the reality is they may think that they want that thing of looking great in a bikini for 5 minutes on stage covered up in tan, but I can guarantee you there's a whole stack of other things that they don't want to do, which isn't going to get them there. So they don't want to give up their partying. They don't want to have to make the lifestyle change. It'd be too hard for them, too much of a gap. They don't want to have to get in the gym 6, 7 times a week. And they don't want to have to watch their food and stay on plan 90%, 99% of the time if you're going to get on stage, right? So a lot of the times when we do goal setting work, it's actually not necessarily around, well, what do you want? What is your ideal life? Sometimes it's good to have that visual, and definitely I would encourage everyone to get really clear on visualizing what their ideal life looks like. But sometimes it's a lot easier to go and start with things we don't want. So, for example, for myself, when it comes to lifestyle, here's a few things that I know I don't want, and I've had to remind myself of that because sometimes the visualizations don't cut it when you're not feeling great, right? So I've had to remind myself of the things I don't want, which is, I really don't want to have to spend my time doing like chores, like washing dishes, gardening, folding laundry, which never seems to end, or grocery shopping. It's a colossal waste of time for me, particularly when you go to the shops and you can't get what you need. Um, and then none of that stuff is enjoyable for me, right? So, when I think about where I want to spend my time, I'd rather create another course or getting on to getting my business off the ground, or working hard in my career, so that eventually I can pay someone to do the admin things that I don't like. Um, Another thing I've come to the realization of as well, which again, whilst I love my job and so on, I've had a really tough couple of weeks because my schedule has been really full on, and a lot of sleep and sanity has been kind of whittled away. Um, so I don't want my day to be filled with calls, meetings, and other appointments. I really value focus time because otherwise I feel really scattered, right? So as soon as my calendar is full of like virtual calls or phone calls or other meetings or other BS that comes with corporate life, I tend not to enjoy my day to day and I don't feel like I've accomplished anything. And of course, when it comes to my health and fitness, everyone's like, well, you're pretty clear on your goals. Well, yeah, but, it didn't always start out that way. And, there's still some fundamentals around things that I don't want that sit there. So I don't ever want to feel weak or to not look like I don't lift or to have no energy or to feel foggy in the head. I hate feeling like I'm under par and can't perform, even day to day, right? And I don't want to waste my efforts in the gym by not eating well or drinking away on the weekends. So, and I didn't even realize, like, that I'd made that decision. So it wasn't until someone asked me the other day, it's like, when was the last time you had a drink? And I actually had to count back, and it's actually been over 2 years. And I hadn't intentionally stopped, no, sorry, 18 months. I hadn't intentionally decided not that I was a huge drinker anyway, but um, I just haven't, even when I've been in social settings, I just haven't wanted to. And it's mainly because I've got so much things to do the next day that I don't want to feel sluggish the next day or to waste my time kind of not feeling on point. Um, so yeah, so I guess my point is here is that I might not be clear on exactly what I want sometimes, but I know for certain I don't want some of the things that I've listed before. And so for yourself, you can apply this exercise, right, to just about every area of your life. And so for you, you may not know exactly what you want, but I'm sure you do know things that you don't like. So, for example, it might be not you don't like not feeling confident in the way that you look and feel, but at the same time, you don't want to have to feel like that you have to be on a strict diet all the time to achieve the opposite, right? And the other thing is as well, you probably you might be for you don't like the feeling of not having enough energy to do the things that you enjoy in your off time, or showing up the way that you want to with the people that you love. Or it might be as simple as having to work in your current job until you retire. I mean, I couldn't think of anything worse myself either, as well, right? So I could go on with this. There's so many things, right? And obviously, I'm not going to speak for yourself because this is a personal thing, but you get the idea. So my point is here is if you don't know what you want in life, that's okay. At least get clear on the things that you don't want, because when you go to start a new program and want to make a change, you'll have some parameters around, and it'll start to help focus where you're going to try things out, and what you're going to do. Um, and yeah, it's basically like a shortcut to figuring out what you do want, right? So I guess my thoughts are today is I suggest that you give this idea some thought, and if you come up with anything or um, had some insights, feel free to reach out for a virtual coffee or to place them in the comments or just DM me with some of the insights you had, because I'd be very curious as to tell me all the things that you don't want.